Multimodality in LLMs is becoming more and more commonplace, to the point where oftentimes these days users are just expecting it. They don't just want to have a standard text-to-text interaction with an AI model. They want to go further. They want to go deeper. They want to upload an image and have the LLM tell them things about the image, or even potentially alter the image and then give them an image back. They want to be able to upload videos and for the LLM to tell them things about that video. They want to talk to the model. They want speech to text and text to speech. They want to be able to upload code and have the AI model alter the code and then give them the code back rewritten or refactored, right? There's this tool use thing that's happening now with LLMs. They want LLMs that can browse the web. They want Operator, they want Manus, right? And so all of this stuff is happening, and yet it's oftentimes happening in the cloud, right? It's happening in big data centers. It's not happening on device. It's very hard to run these multimodal LLMs offline. But now with Qwen, that is changing. This is an AI model coming to us from Alibaba. It's called specifically Qwen2.5 Omni 3B, and it isn't just another iteration for Qwen. It's built specifically to handle all of these different inputs like image, audio, video, and text, making it truly multimodal. And a key aspect here is that they focused pretty heavily on making it accessible. They're seeing significant efficiency gains, aiming for lightweight GPU use, and you can think about running complex audio and video interactions, maybe 30 seconds worth on typical consumer-grade GPUs. And the core message here is pretty clear. Qwen2.5 Omni 3B is here, and it's designed specifically for, quote, lightweight GPU accessibility. Now, what does that actually mean in practice? Well, the first big claim is efficiency. Compared to its 7 billion parameter sibling, this 3 billion parameter version reportedly delivers a remarkable reduction in VRAM usage, over 50% less memory needed when processing long sequences, around 25,000 tokens to be specific. That's a pretty huge drop. And that efficiency directly translates into accessibility. They also mention support for extended 30-second audio video tasks, specifically noting that it can run on typical 24 gigabyte consumer-grade GPUs. And what that means is that advanced multimodal tasks are now possible on standard consumer GPUs, not just expensive enterprise systems. Now, efficiency often comes with a bunch of trade-offs. So does this smaller model sacrifice capability? Well, according to the announcement, it actually retains over 90% of the multimodal understanding power of the larger 7B model, and plus, they claim its natural speech output accuracy and stability match the performance of that bigger version too. So getting that much capability in a significantly lighter package is very compelling, but beyond the efficiency gains, what can Qwen Omni 3B actually do? Well, its core strength is its true multimodality. It's not just about text anymore. This model is designed to perceive diverse inputs, including images, audio, and video. And it doesn't just understand them. It can generate responses using both text and, surprisingly, natural sounding speech as well. And speaking of that speech capability, let's look at an interesting real-world test shared by a user named Zans.
Well, it's hard to tell her exact ethnicity just from this video. She could be Asian or maybe even Caucasian. As for where it was taken, it looks like some kind of rural area. There are trees all around, and here is a road with a white truck parked on the side. It seems like a quiet place, not in a big city. What do you think about the scene? Do you have any other ideas? It sounds like Caucasian might be mispronounced. It should probably be pronounced more like Caucasian. What do you think? Have you noticed anything else that might be off?
So as this user points out, Caucasian isn't an obvious phonetic mistake, but this kind of unexpected output raises some questions. Is it an artifact of the specific data used to train the speech module of this multimodal LLM? Or does it point to how the model internally represents and generalizes sounds, perhaps leading to unusual substitutions in certain contexts? It's a good reminder that even advanced models can have some unique quirks, showing areas where they might differ from human intuition and where further refinement might be needed. So anyways, how does this model manage all of this multimodality? Well, the full details are pretty complex, but the team mentions a novel thinker-talker architecture under the hood. Essentially, different parts handle the perception and generation. They also highlight a specific technique called TM rope, which is a temporal encoding method which helps synchronize the timing between video and audio inputs. And that's very important for understanding video content properly. Another key feature here is its suitability for real-time interactions. The architecture supports chunked input and immediate output. Now, what does that actually mean for users? Well, it potentially enables fully real-time video and voice chat applications. So imagine having a fluid conversation with an AI that's processing audio and video on the fly. That's the kind of experience that this is built for. So far, we've talked about features and accessibility, but how does Qwen Omni 3B actually stack up in performance tests? Well, the team provided several benchmarks comparing it against its larger 7B counterpart and other models, including closed source ones like Gemini 1.5 Pro. So looking at these charts, its performance seems quite strong for its size. While the larger 7B model often leads, the 3B version isn't drastically behind in many areas, especially considering the efficiency gains we discussed earlier. And in some single modality tasks, it even appears competitive with larger specialized models. Now, where this model particularly shines, according to these results, is in tasks requiring the integration of multiple modalities. They mention achieving state-of-the-art performance on OmniBench, which specifically tests these combined capabilities. And that suggests that the architecture is quite effective at fusing information from different senses. Now, going beyond the multimodal focus, the benchmarks also indicate strong performance in individual areas. They call out good results in speech recognition, translation, and also audio understanding. But it's not just limited to that. The model also performs well in image reasoning and video understanding. Now, there is something I want you to consider. They highlight the naturalness of their speech generation, claiming that it outperforms many alternatives. So it might not just be a jack of all trades, but a genuinely capable all-rounder. Now, if you want to run this model locally, you're going to need to use the Transformers library plus their utility toolkit and potentially also tools like FFmpeg and Dcord for handling video efficiently. And their documentation covers the entire setup. Also, a couple of tips if you're using this. To get audio output consistently, the documentation mentions using a specific system prompt telling the model it's a virtual human capable of speech. Also, you can often change the voice. So for this checkpoint, they mention a female voice, Chelsea, and a male voice, Ethan, and you can select between those two. And one last tip for local users, if you have compatible hardware, enabling flash attention to during setup can significantly speed up generation. Okay, so theory and benchmarks are great, but now comes the fun part. Let's see Qwen Omni 3B in action. And for this demo, we're heading into the offline section here where I'll upload a sample video right here. And let's ask it a question. What is happening in this video? Explain it to me in detail. And I'll hit submit. And here's the video that we fed into the model, and let's see how well it analyzes this scene.
Well, from what I can see in this still image, T here is a man standing in a room. He has a pillow on his head, and he's holding a water bottle up to his mouth like he's about to drink from it. His other hand is reaching out towards a red emergency button on the wall. T here is also a couch with some cushions behind him and a plant next to it. But since it's just one still image, we don't know exactly what happens next, or if that's part of some kind of game or challenge. What do you think might be going on here?
So yeah, not bad. It nailed the description of what's happening, and the audio response came through pretty clearly too. All in all, it was a pretty fun and promising experiment. So that's a look at Qwen2.5 Omni 3B. It's definitely an interesting development in the world of accessible multimodal AI. And if you want to try out the demo we showed in this video, I'll put the link down in the description down below. It's worth playing around with to get a feel for its capabilities. But what are your thoughts on this model? Are you excited about more efficient multimodal AI? Let us know in a comment down below. And of course, if you found this video helpful or interesting, then giving it a like is always appreciated. And also consider subscribing for more content like this. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.